Just need to set up my tablet to make sure I can see myself and see any chat as well. Let's see. So the intention is that after having looked at the modules, the official modules, and thinking that they're quite good, I want to have a good look at what happens when I plug the new modules, the new Coriolis modules for the Foundry system, into my existing world, because I spent a lot of time at the time to actually configure all this data, and I just basically want to see what happens if I put this over there. Yeah, it could be a complete car crash. It might go wobbly and say, "Oh, this is not going to work. Go away." I just might end up with a lot of duplicate data, or it might absolutely be absolutely fine. Now, I suspect that what will happen is I will end up with a lot of extra data that I really want, and then I have to basically manage through the different folders and say, I'm going to keep this, I'm going to keep that, or I'm going to get rid of it because it's now in the official module and it looks much better. But let's have a quick look. So I'm in my in my setup here on the forge, and I got the modules imported here as well. So what happens? No, I still can't see myself on my stream. Seems to be delayed somehow. Channel. So here we go. And you can, as I mentioned in some of the other videos, I have been using quite a bit of other things, stuff, other modules. I should really be a bit more specific here to add information about different systems. So this is using pin cushion and background-less pins together, so that are linked in a journal. So Oracon, for example, if I go over this, hover over it, it will pop up a preview of the information. And at the time I integrated that with World Anvil. Oh, hi Mohammed, good to see you again. And it pulls through the information, so I can have a quick look at it, quick peek. And if I share this entry with the players, they can do the same. So that's something I had configured and I'd mentioned before, I think. What else did I do? Maps. Coriolis Station, that was similar. Yeah, I had here all the different entries, all the different areas, including, for example, the Garden of Seekers here. Yeah, just to help me and my players to orient ourselves. My voice is a bit low. I can see whether I can sort that, but it might just be that my cough is a bit low. Let's see. Is that any better at all? Otherwise I have to go into the filters and get some more gain on it, which I can do, of course. Let's see. Gain. Filters. Edit filters. Get a gain on top. 6. Is that any better now? Yeah, oh, now I'm peeking out there. Okay, how about that? Can you hear me? Because if you can't hear it, there's no point doing it. So just as well you told me, Mohammed. Now it's perfect. Good. Quickly sorted. So we have, as I said, I'm just giving you a short tour of what I've currently got before I throw the new modules at it. I've got various things here, like, for example, a character creation sheet, which I stole from somewhere with links through. Some of them have broken by now. From ages ago. I've got Djachroum, a nice map here of Djachroum, the Rimward Reach, which is one of the source books I put together. I translated, I should say. The Rimward Reach looks like this. Yeah, so if you're interested in this sort of stuff, yeah, there should be a link on the bottom. Drivethru RPGs. Pay what you want. You can grab it for free, or you can leave me a little bit of money, and yeah, have fun with it. Wahib's Cantina, for example, to compare that to what we had yesterday. Oh, that seems to have broken. Yeah, okay. Some things are broken because I've been moving stuff about. But that's nothing to do with the import because I haven't run it yet. Got some battle maps here, which I used, for example, for Emissary Lost. You can still see where people were walking around and throwing grenades and escaping on boats. Yeah, Mohammed, I'm already feeling a bit better, a bit brighter today. So that's good. Thank you. Market Square, we had the funeral procession going on here that they were taking part in, and then they were being attacked. That was quite fun. And I mentioned, I think last time that I did ship combat. This was how I did it before the ship sheet came along. So you can see my energy, my bonuses, my energy points on here, and all that sort of stuff. So let's see how this reacts. I left one of my scenarios in here. There's not a lot in it. I created a little sort of outstation Nexus base, which is part of the Rimward Reach, and then they were trying to break out some scientists from there, which was really good. We called it the Lost Children of Nexus. Quite a nice little story. And of course, I've got a lot of actors in here. I've got my crew in here, yeah, with ships. At the time, because as I said, I didn't have the ship sheet. I used PDF Foundry or PD Foundry for the ships. That worked quite well. I think one ship combat, but this is the heart of the matter, and I should be able now because I'm in my browser rather than in Foundry. That should be a bit easier for you to see on the side here. Is it falling off? Might be falling off a little bit. No, it should be okay. So this is where all the setup work went. So group talents I've set up, general talents I set up, items, all the items, and I typically put the chapter references on just to help myself orient myself in the book as well. Yeah, so this is all from the book. There are a couple of additions in there, items that came up that weren't in the book that we made up. Hard to believe, but there are items that are not on that long list. I think my people even bought a box tint. So then I had a crew log. This is the sort of stuff that my characters have access to. For example, we had this running tally here of how much money they spend, how much money they have to service, how much they have to still pay off on their ship. Or it might have been something like message here. What I was trying to show yesterday as well. I'll show that somewhere else, but this basically, I split the text into and the graphic for the simple reason that sometimes this is okay, but sometimes the players can't read the graphics very well on their screen, so I just have a plain text that I can copy and paste as well. It's more of an issue with Cthulhu handouts or Vaesen when you have fancy fonts, and on small screens they don't look very good. What I also have done, I've put The Wake of the Martyr and the Kuhn Connection into my Foundry pretty much entirely. I'm sure there will be module coming out, so I can't share this stuff, and I don't want to share it either. But yeah, you can see I've got some other stuff in here. So let's see what happens. Oh, icon decks as well. I've used them. I wanted to show that briefly because the way I implemented it, if I roll for initiative or for any whatever other reason, if I roll on the icon deck, I've got a little macro here. Let's see whether that works. And then you see, okay, it's the Djinn. Yeah, that popped up already. For whatever reason here, Djinn, you can put it across and put it in your inventory if you wanted to. 66. Click on it, you get the card, just to add something for the storytelling or for other reasons. So let's see. 17, that's better. A healer. Seriously, when I was doing these streams, I was doing 2 criticals. Yesterday it was a 62, today it was a 65, and now the first icon card I'm drawing is a 66. What are the icons trying to tell me? I ask you. Right, so, and the same with the critical injuries, by the way. So I was explaining how my hope is, anyway, that when you play this sort of stuff, you do a critical injury, you roll it, and I think, no, I don't have that macro right now on this bar. So it comes to the chat, and what I'm looking for, and I know this is easy to configure because I managed to do it, is you just pull that across from the chat. Oh, he says, and then it doesn't work because it's not an item. Okay, that's probably why I made this into a journal entry rather than an item. Tricked myself. Yeah. Okay, never mind. So, let's go in here. Let's manage my modules and let's have a look. Coriolis, last version. Now let's just do the core rulebook for now. So I'm going to import this now. Means Foundry will just go away for a minute. And let's see what happens. Drum roll. Let's come back. That's good. Hasn't crashed yet. Yeah, that always pops up because I keep wanting to do something. So, our little welcome message from Alex. And I'm going to hit import. Beam me in. Beam me up. What will happen now? It's quite a big module, so it's, I can't remember, 247 files or something. So I'm going to just sit back and have some tea and see what happens. Coriolis core rules are already listed now on the top, if you see that. I was watching it yesterday, taking through my local install, importing it bit by bit. So, okay. That means it keeps everything nicely together in the Coriolis core rule book. And if I wanted, for example, I want to mess up the import. But if I wanted to make a clear difference, I can edit the folder. No, it doesn't let me do that while it's going on. And make it a different color. That's what I've done in some other systems. So the clear color tells me that's the official rules and this is my addition. So as I then go back in and say, can I do with the new stuff only, or do I need to gear some of my own? That will really help me. So while that's still importing, because it hasn't sent me the message that it's done, I mentioned yesterday the GM screen as well. So the way I set it up, I've got story information here. For the last session, this was the last session of the Mercy of the Icons, part 1. Now I've got my combat reference here. So these are things where that I mentioned that yesterday, that I had lots of small snippets of rules. So if I wanted, for example, to know about Overwatch and what it means, and so we don't get any grief quitters, you click on there, and because it's still importing, doesn't do it right now, but it then gives you just that little bit of the rules, which I can share with the players. So these are all journal entries. Yeah. And for me, that's a quick way of looking it up. And that's something I'm probably going to keep from my system, because in the new system, the rules information is all there. But the problem with it is that it's all in one document. It's all in one flowing text. And that can be quite tricky to then see. Yeah, and as I mentioned before, you can have snippets here, clipping tool, put it in, and show art. This is the button I was looking for yesterday. If I click on there, basically it shows just that little bit, just that picture to the players rather than the whole journal entry. Hi, Ivan. You're back. Good to see you again. So, has the import worked? Is it done? Do I know? Clear the chat. We don't need broken legs. No, something is still going on. Oh, hang on. I hope I haven't scrolled in too far so that I can't see the import message. Not sure that worked. We'll find out. So, has it worked? Is it still working? All the folder structures there, so that's good. Most of the information is that the icons are not there yet. So I might be messing up the import here by clicking through stuff, and I shouldn't be clicking through stuff. Yeah, this keeps force scrolling me down. So there's something going on here in the background still. So, any questions from you guys while we patiently wait for the import to run? Chilling a late night. Okay. Gosh, where are you, Ivan? Because here it is 4:20 in the afternoon. Perfect for tea time. Probably shouldn't have clicked quite as much. Of course, I could kick it off again, but that could really backfire, so I don't want to do that. So, what can I look at first? Let's have a look at the scenes. So, let's compare actually the Coriolis map that I've got, the Coriolis map that is on here. If it lets me look at it. It wasn't there, it was on the maps, wasn't it? Gosh, it's really chugging. My Forge install is normally really quick. It doesn't take this long, so it's definitely working in the background. Malaysia. Oh yeah, that is a long way away. Malaysia. I'm an old blighty. How many mods am I running? When I was doing the earlier stream today, I just looked at the minimum set, which was 20 something. I think on this one it's 30. It's going to be 30 something. Yeah, it's not even letting me click right now. There's something going on. See how long it takes to come up. But the key ones are GM screen. I was running card support until I basically found it too fiddly and decided to just go with a rollable table for initiative, which has the card deck in it, so I can still roll all the card deck. Background is pins, and pin cushions are a real favorite of mine. It's the quest log. I quite like the quest log, although less so in Coriolis. Turn, what is it called? Turn tracker, I think, which highlights whoever's turn it is currently. And if you've got sleepy players online, that's really useful because they can get a ping as well. I'm running pings. Yeah, why is this not working? Oh, something's happened. Gosh, when did I click on that? I can't even remember. So, oh, this was ages ago. So I think this is a good sign. Yeah, look, it's catching up with all my clicks. So, lesson, when you actually put this stuff into the Forge or into online Foundry, whatever you want to use, give it its time. Don't click through it. When I did it locally, it took a while, but it didn't take quite this long. So now it's done. Lovely. And now we can actually do what I was hoping to do. So I go to Coriolis Core Rules. I go to Coriolis Station. And this is the map that comes with the module. So just look at the clarity. Hopefully that's clear enough for you at home. Hopefully. And there's the music. And now let's compare that to my Coriolis Station, which is this one here. So the coloring is a little bit different, but you can see that the quality, or the clearness of the fonts and so on is a lot lower on my map. Now, what I did, I just grabbed these off the PDF. So I guess it's to be expected. Yeah, just for comparison again, let's look at what shall we look at? Text. If I make it just big enough to fit on one screen, minus the heading. I can read this, you probably might not be able to, but I did put the resolution of the stream up, so 1080p at least. So compare that to the new one. Oh, it's not on there. Just that bit. Yeah, it's much clearer. Much clearer. So you can see Coriolis rules. The folder puts all the stuff together that they've imported. So that's good. I don't have to worry about that. If the music gets too loud, please let me know, yeah? There's a question. 2 questions. Tips on how to structure multiple scenarios and scenes in Foundry. Yeah, I can show you that a little bit, but I actually got rid of some of my scenes. Some of my scenarios. Yeah, definitely, Ivan. The high resolution is better. So this is the valley. I'll show you how I structure the different folders in a minute. Terengganu Valley. I think I still have that on mine. Unless I checked that out because I didn't need it anymore. No, I probably checked that out. Yeah. And the Emissary Lost will not be there yet. What else have I got? Don't have the ship's map on mine. Asandra I don't have. Oh, and the title picture. Okay, let's go to the scenarios. So, the way I do this, this is for Amoebin. Is it? Terengano. I never know that. Learn something for geography. I had a really good adventure in here. Basically, what we did is this is part of the Statute of Zabagram in the rule book, and we expanded that quite a bit. Basically, I made it into this mystery with portal builders, and there was one ruined portal builders and another one where people were trying to, the founders actually were trying to contain a demon from coming through from the dark beyond the stars, and we had a real good laugh for that. And that actually ended up in a wild goose chase into the Rimward Reach, where we picked up the Dark Flowers Light Leaf scenario and played that next. So if I have a scenario, I only have one on here. Typically, two actually. Typically, what I do is I have a scenario folder. I then have handouts. It's always a handout folder for me. There's not a lot on this here, and my notes. Now this one is one of my own making. There's not a lot of information behind it. Excuse me. I just have a few notes linked up together with the actors that I need to help me tell the story. Made a map for it. That's fine. That's a small scenario. And then what you can do is you can actually bundle that up later on, put it in your compendium, and get it off your live storage if you like. Emissary Lost was a challenge because I wanted to keep it all together, which meant I had lots of information. So what I've done here, looking at my stream, I think you should be able to see that. I did it by acts, and by the way, there might be spoilers in here. Yeah, just so you know. I have the 3 acts here, just like in the book. I then have created, and this is where the structure comes in, a numbering system for myself. I think I restarted act by act. Yeah, I wouldn't do that anymore. By scenario, just keep the numbers running. First numbers, yeah? Because otherwise it gets a bit messy. Basically, this talks me through. And I have an overview, which is the same as in the books. I have the key insights in that, and I've got the key characters in it. This is it's copy and paste from the book. Yeah, I've got a few tricks of how to make it slightly faster, but essentially it's copy and paste. I have a timeline here, all reference information. My aim when I use Foundry is I just want to be able to play it, and I want to have lots of other books on my table or something like that. So, what else? I haven't tagged this up as much as I might have done later on. So there was a video here, for example, that I created. Yeah, so you can embed HTML here. And this is this newscast. It's fairly hammy. It's fairly poor, but I just was playing with it. Right. That's for the journal entry. So that tells me what's going on where. Now the maps, I then will have as locations. Is that right? Did I do that way? I will typically have the locations and then link them. So I've got the scenes. You'll recognize this in a minute. Mystery Lost. I got rid of the first bit already. So it's just a Kuhn connection. And you can see that they're separate. So journal entries, I will typically put links in to what I need to know about it. So if I go to the Jar Jar's workshop, or Yaya, as we call her now, because Jar Jar is just too much Star Wars. I will have a few bits of information here. I've got my links in here. These are the journal links, so I can read out the description while looking at the map. I put a little camera on this one. Just saying this is a surveillance camera, so if you want to sneak up on it, you have to do this cleverly. What else did I do? I grabbed some maps off Facebook. Somebody made the Swamp Palace map. Not really the right style for me, but and it's a huge map. That's why it takes a while to load. But at least we had a map. Dum-dum-dum-dum. Yeah, it's too big. That map is too big. I know that. It's something like 10,000 pixels wide. I probably shouldn't have clicked on it because now I have to wait until it loads. So, while I wait, any questions? You share something from the journal, give access to the players where they not see the folder structure then. Not really. They might see it, but one of the best ways if I want to share something, and it's truly a handout I want to share, something for the players to keep, I will put that in the crew log on the handouts. Now, so I've got a folder here, Current Connection handouts. So if I only share, you can see here on the side, you can see it might be really small on the screen, or might even have fallen off. Yeah, I might have to just tweak that a bit. Hang on a second. Move the screen over a little bit. Make sure you can see the right edge. Can you see those little colored dots? Those colored dots basically are from a module called Permission Viewer, and that allows me to see what has been shared and what has not been shared. So they will see basically the path to that. They will see Emissary Lost, Current Connection handouts, and then they'll see the files. They will not see Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. So it depends a little bit how you structure it. So, which reminds me, I wanted to show you briefly my modules. So if I go to active modules only, it's 37. Some of these will not be relevant anymore. Put them on, but forgot about them, or they don't work anymore, maybe. But yeah, about time, because you want to track what's going on. Timeless, backgroundless pins, definitely break time. Yeah, they are easy. Chat pottery, I really like. Coriolis Stories is my own chat compendium, so that's where my scenarios have gone. I can show you that in a minute if you want to. Cursor hider, I don't think you need that anymore, really. You have scene enhancement, key thing. If I have got the scene list on the side and I want to click on something, it takes me straight there. Don't have to go somewhere else. Dice So Nice, you all know about. Yeah, let's see whether there's anything. Journal Scaler, I like that one. So if you have a journal entry, you can control mouse wheel and you can make it really big. Yeah, some of the stuff is far too small. It's about that sort of size default. I don't find that easy to read. So that's Journal Scaler. Journal Link, if you put a link somewhere in, it will tell you that an article is linked and which articles it's linked to and from. Excuse me. Narrator tools I showed earlier, I think. So if you have, this was a brief for one character, or an NPC was taken over by a player, and you want to just show this and say, all right, narrate this. Now I need to be quick. It gives you this nice little on-screen display, which you can pause. It also puts it in the chat. Oh, the coloring doesn't work. The style sheet doesn't work very well here. But it works. Players can read it. Where was I? Modules. Permission Viewer gives you those little dots to tell you what has been shared with whom. Quick Insert, oh, that's such a good thing. If you haven't used Quick Insert yet, for example, I have Eleanor's brief here and I want to change something in it. And I want to add something here at the bottom to say, oh, she needs to know about, so she needs to know about little alcohol. Now it should be, there we go, Control space, and you put in something with alcohol. Right. She's from there, let's say, and she needs to be able to know about the planet of Algol. Done. Save entry. I didn't have to go and find it. Yeah, the search function did it for me. She's now got a link at the bottom. So you can click on that and get to the information. Isn't that cool? I really like that. Something I was also criticizing, or not criticizing, it's the wrong word, but missing in the official installation, didn't work locally on my Foundry. My local Foundry, but it still does work on here, is being able to show pictures. You see that show art? So if I click this show art now, it will pop that into pop-up for the players, but they don't get access to the whole article. Yeah, I'm not changing access rights. I'm just taking this art piece and displaying it to the players. which is exactly what I want to do. Interesting. Let's try whether that actually works now with the core rulebook ones. So, core rulebooks, Beast and Djinn, there's supposed to be. I'm sure there's a picture in there somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, here it works. So it might just be that the plugin doesn't work anymore on my local install. Here it works. Excellent. That's really good. So, any of the others that you want to see more about? Coriolis Compendium again is me just having reference information there. Yeah, I don't think there's anything there. Wow, the hey listen chat notifications, they're really useful. If you make a quick roll here for one of my crew members, you'll see that in the bottom left corner, the roll result will pop up. So if I'm like this and I can't see the chat log, click on Mystic Powers here. All the dice come flying in. Yeah, it pops that up. Okay, I took note of that. I don't now have to go to the chat log and find it again. So, sharing I mentioned. Good, let's get back to how I structure the scenario. Do you like this picture? I like it. This is the big map I was trying to load, and you can see what I've done. I've put tiles on it, which I revealed bit by bit as they were making the journey through the swamp. So whenever they came to the next bit, I then told them a story with the ruins, etc. And that was at the end, and actually before they went overcross. Yeah? So they see the pictures as developing like a photo collage in front of them. That was the idea behind it. But you can tell how big the map is by how small the preview is. It's far too big. That didn't work. Oh, the background map is this. Right. Lost my place again. Where was I? I was talking about Emissary Lost. So the later sections, the further I got into the campaign, the more I cross-linked it. And what I ended up doing is I made session plans for every session. So these session plans here would typically give me the overview of what's going to happen, what's likely to happen, and assembles all the links I need to have. So I don't have to navigate the whole tree. Very cool pictures. I'm glad you like it. I don't quite have that many mods, but I don't make it. Yeah. Journals. I like the journals. Fair enough. If you want to use paper, that's fine. I just call me a bit picky. I keep saying that, but the sequence of the information, the PDFs, especially in the scenarios where you've got the setup and then you've got events, and then you've got, first setup, then NPCs, then events, and right at the beginning you had important points, but right at the end you see how the important points play out in the events. I find that really difficult to navigate. So having this, is my version, my annotated version of that. So if I go for an early session here, you can see that's all I have to manage on the day, which I can cope with and do that. That's enough information. And if I want to see events in the jungle, I'll click on it and I've got them here. Hello. So, any other questions on that? On how I manage our major characters here, for example. Always there. I don't have to find it in the PDF. Factions and groups, that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's something I need to refer to throughout the long campaign. And I think we ran 13 sessions. I think it was 12 or 13 sessions of this. And even at the end, you still get this sort of stuff. I really like how you group this up and take it into the GM screen add-on. I find that really useful. I use this extensively also in Forbidden Lands. Just again, so much quicker. So what were the experience questions again? Story bits, as I was saying. What are the key things? This was for a big fight at the end, and I thought, I know what the story is. I'm going to use this for my key reference information. Combat. And yeah, main. I hope I'm not spoiling this scenario for you, by the way. And it's really cool because you can just, even from here, yeah, you can highlight something and narrate it or describe it. Narrate brings it on the screen and in the chat. Describe just puts it in the chat. That's the narrator tool, I think it's called. Plugin. Right. Have I got anything cool for you? Any battle maps? Oh, I made one little battle map at the end. It's mainly more a mood map than a battle map. The full battle map I have in my compendium. Let's see whether I can get to that. So if I go to Emissary Lost, Scenes, the Cellar Hangar is one of the scenes I wanted to have. So I import this now. See if it changes. Yeah, so this is a scene that, of course, everybody's fighting in. Yeah, you know this from the book. It's a flat map. So I didn't make a new map for that in particular. But what I did do is I lit it. Yeah, so rather than just saying, oh, look, these little cones here show you where the security cameras are, I animated them as a light source in Foundry. So if you look at the light sources, you can see that they're now there. I put some walls on. Doesn't even take long. Yeah, but if I then have this and I've got people moving around and I say these big pods here in the middle, they're blocking the side and there are people hiding behind it and so on. You get the character visibility now. I've switched it off in the end because by the end of the scene they had seen it all. But I think I put token vision back on. You'll see what I mean. Yeah. So as they move around, he says, oh, somebody's taking cover behind those pods. I can't get to them. Right, let me walk over here and get them from the side. So for this fight, I think that worked really well. Yeah, while they're not sure how many enemies there are. And it just gives them a little bit of a feel of a board game or of a computer game. And some of the players really like it, some don't. So a lot of the stuff I do, I steer to the mind. But when I first arrived here, of course, they came through the staircase from about here, and all they could see, oh, the door's over there. All they could see was the closed door. And they had to puzzle out how to react. That in itself was worth making. Right. So that was one map I made. Another one I made was the Emissary's Wake. It was described, but if you just look at the hospital map, it's just number 17, this room. And it's supposed to be the big encounter with a big nasty here. Which, for me, I resized it a few times. Every time you fight it, it can come back bigger. And I made that huge in the end. But I just thought that's such a boring map for such a big encounter. So I just dressed it up a little bit and made it look like this. So again, I have the information up here. What's going on here as a journal note. But when they come in, at least they can relate to what's being described. The blood splatters, the prayer rugs and so on. Okay, so, and I put sessions or I put scenarios that I'm done with into the compendia. And I basically do this so that I do subfolders with compendium folders, and for each scenario I then have the actors, the journal, and the scenes tied together for that one scenario. So if I wanted to pull in a whole scenario here, I would have to right-click on the folder and say import folder structure, I think it is called. No? Oh, I thought that worked. Maybe I tricked myself there. But you can import it anyway. You can import it bit by bit. At least I know where it is. So I don't have all my scenes in one folder. I've got them by, or on one compendium. I've got them by scenario, which makes it a lot easier if I want to pull something off the shelf. Dying Ship, for example. Have you played the Dying Ship, you guys? Mm. Maybe let me know if you did. And this is my base reference information as well, so I stashed it all away in case something goes wrong. So this map is nice. Yeah. I think I can't even remember whether I used Arcane Forge for this. Might have been Arcane Forge, or whether it was Dungeon Fog. Can't even remember. Yeah. The really cool maps I make are very few and far between because it's such an effort. Such an effort to do this. Right, so to sum up then, because I need to go and have some dinner. I think it hasn't messed up anything. I still have all my stuff. I can color the folder up here to say, okay, the red folder is the official. And everything else I can still keep. I'm sure I can compare and contrast very easily. If I go for my general talents here, and then the Coriolis core talents, general talents, I put them side by side. Yeah. I'm sure they will be the same ones. There's one here I haven't shared, Hardened. Why did I not share that? Don't know. Don't know. Why didn't share that with my players? So if I wanted to share it, easily done. Dumb. The permission viewer then tells me that it's shared. Oh, something just went wrong. Oh well. Luckily, this is just a clone world. Weapons. Yeah, I structure them slightly differently to the core rule set. Weapons. Did I? Looks very similar. Because these are the categories from the tables in the book. I think that's why they look so similar. Weapons. Yeah, we copied the same stuff. Isn't it lovely when several people have done the same? Yeah, Amoebian. Running a game on Foundry, it suits me because I can invest the time getting organized, and then at the table I don't have to flick through books and so on. I just know where everything is, and in a way, putting it all on Foundry is part of my preparation. In a way, by copying and pasting a lot of information, analyzing it, how it links together, I then have it in my head. So by the time I actually get to play this, I often don't even read the stuff that's on here. It's just part of my process. Right. I think that's a roll table, isn't it? Have I made critical injuries as items? Or was it just Forbidden Lands where I did that? So if you want to ever find out, remember the search bar, guys. Crit. I haven't. But the ship critical. That's the core rules. Items. And mine, I haven't done that. I've done them as journal entries. Yeah, prayer. That's a question that sometimes come up. Yeah, Jim, I'm glad you had a good experience importing the stuff over the top of something else. I checked out, actually. I cloned my world first. Yeah, so this is anything that's messed up. It's not messed up for real. It's just my copy. So, what was I going to look at? Yeah, comes up sometimes here, the darkness points on the side. They are explained in the how to use this module. So if somebody pushes a roll, I'm going to do a quick roll here. Somebody. Should do skill roll. Scrum. Actually, that would be weapon roll, wouldn't it? You can see this person is severely encumbered. So ephemeral rifle shot. What? Only one success, not good enough. I can pray to the icons from the chat card down there. I thought. There's the second roll. And now you can see how the darkness points have been added. And the white chat card tells it's for me. Yeah, they can't see that, how many they've got. And if I ever want to add, I use the plus, spend some, minus, and the question mark will post my current total. Yeah, so if I brought it down to 6, if I click the question mark, then it just tells me you've got 6 targets. What I've done in the stream previously, I then had a little token at the bottom of the screen that had a number next to it. But if you want to the players to see something like that, you just create an icon. It has the numbers. These are the ones I looked for earlier. Yeah, you plonk it somewhere where the players can see it on the map. And you can give it a status. Status on here. Or you can just give it hit points, but I can't read them. So I give it a status. If that's it. Status counter is enabled. What you can do is you can give the same status a few times. Let me zoom in a bit more. You see how that number is now 6? Yeah, so that's the status counter module. If I give it more of the Crusaders crosses here, zoomed in so far, it goes up. If you right click on it, it goes down. So that's a quick way of showing darkness points on the screen. Right. It's my little girl's birthday, so I'm going to go make some dinner now. I hope you enjoyed that and hope it was a bit useful. If you want to see more of how I've used this, there's so much of the streamed games from my local club on YouTube, but be patient. It takes a while. And I put a couple of videos on. The first video ever, actually, on this channel, I think, was my very first Coriolis setup, and that was on the 20th of October last year. So, have fun with it if you want to have a look at it. For now, thank you very much for sticking with me, and I'll be signing off if I can find the button. Take care, everybody.